help you.
Hey guys, so today is Sunday, April 9th, and it is 7:30 p.m. and I'm home for the first time since Tuesday of this week.
I invented sweat, popping bottles, putting supermodels in the cab. Proof. I guess I got my swag.
It's Monday morning. Went straight to bed last night. I was just so exhausted from a long week of drill. Today's kind of like my recovery day. I have nothing planned for the day, so I think I'm gonna start off the morning with some ice cream. Yeah. Alright, I'll be honest with you guys. This past week I have not been eating clean at all. When I was away for drill, they put me in a hotel for 6 days, so I ate fast food almost every meal, every day, and I should probably get back on track. But there's a saying out there that goes something like, when you have a rough week, treat yourself to some ice cream. Done. One thing that I never mentioned on my channel before, and that's the fact that I'm in the Marines. And I know a lot of you guys watching may be unfamiliar with how the military works or how it's even structured organizationally. So that's something that I'm going to talk about in this video. So regardless of branch of service being Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marines, and Coast Guard, military is kind of broken down into two components. Those two components being active duty and reserves, which I'm in. So active duty is essentially, and it's self-explanatory, it essentially means that you are a full-time military service member, and that is your full-time job. That's why when you hear people say that they are active duty military, that means that's their 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, or even Monday through Monday. That's what they do. And then there's people like myself who are in the reserve component of their respected branch, and that essentially just means that we have an obligation of 1 weekend per month to show up to what we call drill, and drill is essentially work, and we call it drill weekend, and we go there and serve our obligation. I'm drinking McDonald's coffee at a Starbucks right now. People who are in the reserves, whether it's Army, Navy, Air Force, or Marine Corps reserves, have either a full-time job or they're in school taking classes. Because like I mentioned, the military is not their full-time job when they're in the reserves, and it's completely, entirely unfeasible to sustain yourself by just being in the reserves. That's the main reason why I joined the reserves as opposed to active duty, because I knew once I graduated high school that I wanted to serve in the Marines one way or another, but I also wanted to pursue other things such as my education and civilian career concurrently while I served in the Marines. So one thing to keep in mind is that whether you join the military as a reservist or an active duty member, when you first join and go through your initial training, everyone goes through their initial basic training on active duty orders, meaning it's a full-time gig. And despite common misconceptions, there is actually no bifurcation between the two components during their initial training. So that means reservists and active duty members go through the same training alongside each other as one constituent before they are attached to their duty station if you're active duty, or before you're sent home and you are report to your reserves unit if you're a reservist like myself. All right, so initial training for the Marines consists of 3 phases. You have boot camp or basic training, which is 13 weeks long, and that's where you go to be a basically trained Marine. And once you graduate from there, you are sent off to MCT or Marine combat training, where essentially you learn weapons training and combat tactics. That's about a month long, and then from there, depending on your job, you go to your job school, and that duration is contingent on the job. It can be anywhere from 1 month to even 2 years. Rice, tuna, hot sauce, and hummus, because delicious. So I've been in the Marines now for 4.5 years. I joined back in 2012 when I was 19 years old after completing 2 years of college, and I went enlisted, and I picked the job of a supply administration and operations clerk. That's my MOS, my military occupational specialty / job, and I picked that job mainly because that's what I wanted to do in the civilian world, which is supply chain management. And I knew that the military would be a great opportunity for me to learn some skills that they were willing to train me in and pay for, that I could directly apply in my civilian career. But one thing to keep in mind for the Marine Corps Reserves, if you're thinking about joining, is that the term 1 weekend per month is very freaking ambiguous. It's rarely ever just Saturday, Sunday. I have a buddy in the Air Force Reserves, and he usually always has drill Saturday, Sunday through the rest of the year. But for us, for my unit especially, that's really the case. It can be from Wednesday through Sunday, Thursday through Sunday, or Friday through Sunday. And as you can imagine, that throws a monkey wrench into your civilian job. And the reason for that is because of the nature of our job. When you think of Marines, you think of quick reacting, combat ready, amphibious unit, right? And we train for that. So that's essentially what drill is. That's essentially what reservists are for. We are there to augment the active duty component when needed, when called upon. So when you think of how the active duty component and the reserves components are breaking down job-wise, you find jobs in the reserves that aren't needed during peacetime. So we're always training for the just in case, for, you know, when shit hits the fan. And for example, my unit is a bulk fuel unit attached to a engineering support battalion, and our job is essentially to set up fuel farms in a combat zone to fuel vehicles and aircrafts. And that is why drill can be longer than just Saturday, Sunday in order to train for that. So in my opinion, the most arduous thing about being a reservist in the United States Marine Corps Reserves is definitely the work-life balance. And yes, the work itself can be difficult. There are going to be times when you have to show up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and you don't get off until 10 o'clock at night, only to do it again the very next day. As a reservist, the most challenging thing is the balancing of your civilian life and your military life. And by no means am I belittling active duty service members. I have the highest respect for them. Hats off to you guys. But the one thing that they fail to realize is the fact that our life isn't as structured as theirs. When you're in active duty, when you're on active duty orders, and this is what I realized when I was on them, your life is very structured. Your day-to-day is planned out, and you just have one thing to worry about, which is your job, right? That's it. But when you're a reservist, you have both your civilian life and your military life, and sometimes, more often than not, those two get in the way of each other. And as you progress through your reserves career and you pick up rank and start handling more responsibilities, you're not just working, you're not just showing up for that 1 week in a month. Throughout the month, you are constantly in contact with the Marines that you're in charge of. For example, I'm currently a squad leader. I have the rank of corporal, which is a non-commissioned officer in the Marines, and I have about 10 to 12 Marines that I'm in charge of, and I have to be in constant communication with them, passing down information regarding drill or anything military regarded, and that is just an ongoing thing in between drill. The good thing is that typically you have your drill schedule 1 year in advance, so that way you can plan around it. That's pretty much a gist of my Marine Corps Reserves career/life. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below and I'll make sure to answer them. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. Please subscribe and like the video if you liked it. The channel's full of fitness, food, and travel content. I might start incorporating some Marine Corps content if you guys enjoy it. I'm thinking about doing a day in the life of a Marine Reservist video the next time I have drill, so I can show you guys what exactly drill is like. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.